Right then, ladies and gentlemen of YouTubes, we're making some more of these today. A little intrinsic safe pokers, you can see. That's just 6mm brass, polished up with a nice spike on the end, brass fixtures, and a selection of woods and resin handles. So that's what we're making. Unfortunately, I missed out the beginning bit, so I've had to do it all again with what I've got left. So I get my bits of wood like this. This is a piece of laburnum. I get bits like that in chunks. Some Japanese maple that I cut down out of a tree in planks. You can see that was a branch. I've got them bookmarked together at the minute, so when I'm doing knives I can make a nice job out of the scales. When I get my bacote, it tends to come like this in planks, and I just buy a few rough, if you can see how bendy these are, because I take them down thinner than that anyway, so it's pointless me paying for premium wood. I mean, that's a bit better. Boing. And I get various other woods in log form. So you see, I'll often get logs like this sort of size, and you can see it's covered in rubbish at the minute, but you can see I've already started axing the edges down because I've only got a little dinky saw, which I'll show you in a minute. I've got some nice burls out of a cherry tree not so long back, so you can see they've already been hacked with a chainsaw. I'll take some planks out of those. Like I say, all I've got is a little dinky saw. I'll just show you that. There you go, there's my little dinky bandsaws. And as you can see, here's some of the bits that I cut up earlier. Nice bit of olive left over there. These are all cherry blocks, which I've already trimmed. And then I'll show you the next bit. So this is a quick look at what I just do for stabilising them, just so you get an idea. So we've got blocks, as you can see, cut from whatever they may be cut from. Obviously these are trimmed down into squares, ready to be turned. And then I have a small vacuum chamber, vacuum pump. They go into that. That gets pulled down to a full vacuum and a pump left on. Basically, as long as I can run the pump for, and basically until they stop kicking out bubbles. Which usually takes about 2 days. And then they get wrapped up. You can see some other bits I've done there. A piece of foil. They've been left to soak for another 2 days at normal room pressure, atmospheric pressure. Just lets anything bleed back out again. Wrap them up in foil, and then they go in the kiln for anywhere between 2 hours and 4 hours at 90 degrees C. That makes them all nice and solid. Here's some bits that we've done at roughly the same time, so you can see some of the crystals on the outside, the juice. These were too split to use. So there you go. That's what makes them good and strong and hard. Now I ain't got a lathe. Well, one day I will, but in a minute I don't have. So Mr. Exton, who you'll remember off the channel, who frequently we work together, has a small wood lathe. So I took them square blocks and spun them round, and then utilised his other lathe to drill a nice 6mm hole in the end of them. And then what I do, like I say, because I haven't got a lathe, is these are actually spun using my sander, belt sander, my big beastie bad boy. 3 horsepower, plenty of grunt. And all I've done at the minute is I'm going to just rough these in. So what you can see is we've got, these are glow in the dark resin, blue and green mix, cherry laurel, chapili, these two are yew, that's the cherry blocks that you saw a moment ago, the coat that you saw a moment ago, and the laburnum that you saw, which I've slightly cross cut, which has given us some nice interesting green in this wonderful wood. Now I'll show you my little setup that I had for basically just spinning all the ends, doming the ends on them. Look, you can see how the ends have been rounded over and the fronts have been chamfered, ready for the next step. And I'll show you how I did that. What I've got is a length for the brass bar in my drill. And these are drilled for a nice snug fit, as you can see here. And basically I'm just running that up against the belt sander. And a little tickle for you. Look, nice polish, nice chamfer. These are only 240 grit basically at the minute, it's just roughing the shapes in. These are 125mm long. By the time we've got your nail in the front, gives you a nice little palm push there. Does quite nicely. And we've got our brass lengths. You can see that, they're all marked out on there. A bit shiny in it. Anyway, lengths are marked out on the brass because I'm just trimming them down. Basically just take them off for the croppers. There we go. Nice and quick and easy. We like that. So next steps, put a nice point on one end, and then spiral groove the other end so it gives the epoxy something to nicely grip, stop them from spinning around and sliding about. They're going to be pinned anyway, but added security is always a nice thing to have in it. So I'll show you that. We'll just quickly wang them in the drill, give them a quick sharpen, and then once I've done all of one end I'll spin them round. And I'll put all the preps for the spiral grooves on the other end. So you can see. All the bits of brass bar, nicely sharpened. We've all got a nice spiral groove in the end of them to retain the epoxy. I just drilled one hole as a tester just to check, but these are for the cross pins that stop them from twisting. So all I've got to do now is mark out however many of those I need on 3mm. A skinny piece of bar, so pliers do nicely. Right, see how these are all drilled. And in the meanwhile, I've also spiraled the centre of these pins. Can you see that or not? Can you see that? You know what I did anyway. I showed you on the big pins. It's the same process for these 3mm. Make sure that the resin's got something to bite into. So back to mixing up some gobbo. A nice little trick this. If you were constantly like me, or like you used to be, looking for things to try and mix your resins and your epoxies and glues and body filler and all sorts on. Nice smooth bit of plate. In this case I'm just using my surface plate. Put a bit of tape on it. Any old tape will do, masking tape, sellotape, whatever. And then you can just peel it off. Job's a good one. It's nice. Usually a good idea to try and find something to mix it with first and all. There they are, all pinned up. Our eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed there's only one glow-in-the-dark one there. Technically speaking, that one's broke. Unfortunately, I got a bit carried away with myself and I wasn't really looking at what I was doing. I made a complete idiot mistake in that I was a little bit off centre. So that's where it all started. You wouldn't really notice. But I hit the brass and pushed it off. So unfortunately, that one's scrap, which is rather annoying. Kick myself over that because that's an apprentice mistake. What an idiot. Right, next these are all dried up, so I'll just rough these off first and then use a little spinny tool. You can see right, so all I've got here is my die grinder, basically stuck in the rice. This is one of the pieces of does a little bit of structure here, like so. And then got a couple of different, well, I have the same thing that I do with all of my handles on the knives. So I'll go use these pads. And I do 180, 240, or is it 320? Might be 320, yeah, 320, 400, 600. And then I go to a these pads. So, there's a 2000. I normally do a 1200 of those, but it seems to be missing, so straight to the 2000. And then I've got my mop and my drill. And I've got this really nice polish, hard wax polish. I like to use that stuff. So obviously I'll speed this up for you so you can see what's going on, but now you know, I've talked you through it so you know what grits I'm using. There we go. Shine on that beast. Doesn't really do it justice on this camera. My awful lighting in here. Quick flick back there, I've run that one back in again. Clean that strange dirty mark out the corner there. So you can see how you can't pick up the depth of how much this wood's shining at the minute. What it feels like in your hand. I want to get them out in the sun and get a chance. Be able to have a bit better look. I'll just do that to them all. And then I'm ready to do that end. See, these have all been nice and polished up. And we've just got this end to do. All I've done is I've got my mop in the grinder this time. There we go, all finished up. I'll pick up these nice bits of wood in this video, but some really nice bits of wood. These two are already gone. Sheath's all ready to go. The two neck carry ones. This one's going to Dusky Fuse, so if we get a chance I'll do a little link to his unboxing video of this one. Nice one, thank you very much for watching. There you go. See you next time.